So Anthropic just rolled out Claude Design, and this is basically their answer to tools like Figma, Canva, and Google Stitch. It lives at claude.ai/design and runs on the new Opus 4.7 model. If you're on Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise, you already have access to it, no extra cost. It just uses your regular subscription limits. For the longest time, Claude Code has been the tool everyone raves about for back-end and logic work. But front-end design, that was always the weak spot. You'd ask Claude to build you a landing page, and you'd get something that works, sure, but it usually looked pretty bland. So with Claude Design, Anthropic is patching that gap directly. Just a few days before the release, Anthropic's chief product officer Mike Krieger resigned from Figma's board of directors. That wasn't a coincidence. Right after Claude Design went live, Figma's stock dropped another 5% on top of the nearly 50% decline it had seen over the past year. So the market is clearly treating this as a real competitive threat, not just another AI side experiment. And this launch comes at a moment when Anthropic is reportedly being offered a funding round that would value the company at $800 billion, which would put it right up there with OpenAI. So this isn't some small research demo. This is Anthropic moving into serious enterprise territory. Alright, so you can access this at claude.ai/design, and you got a pretty clean interface. On the left, you get a few starting options like prototype, slide deck, template, or other. And down at the bottom, you can set up a design system, which is honestly the part I think most teams will care about. You point it at your GitHub repo or drag a folder from your computer, and it reads through your codebase to pull out your brand colors, typography, components, all of that stuff. From then on, every new project you make uses those styles automatically. For a company with existing brand guidelines, that alone could save hours of back and forth. You can even maintain multiple design systems if your company has more than one brand under it. So I hit New Prototype, add a name, and chose the high-fidelity mockup option instead of a rough wireframe. Now a quick note on that choice. The high-fidelity mockup burns through a lot more tokens than the wireframe option. So if you're on the Pro plan, be a little careful with how often you hit Regenerate. The wireframe route is way more budget-friendly if you just need to sketch something out quickly. Before I continue, let me introduce CodeSnif, a security-first pull request code review platform. You open a pull request, and CodeSnif scans it through 9 deep analysis steps to give you a complete review before you merge. Actually, writing code these days is easier than ever, thanks to AI. But with that speed comes a new kind of risk: security threats, hidden bugs, and code you don't fully understand shipping straight to production. I connect my GitHub account, grant CodeSnif access to my repo, and with just one click, I generate a full analysis of my project. I instantly get a clear summary of my codebase, my tech stack, and the complexity hotspots I need to watch. Then the dependency graph gives me a visual map of how everything connects, so I can spot risky areas in seconds. When a pull request is created, CodeSnif automatically analyzes it and hands me a full review, an overview, the risk level, merge advice, and clear warnings about any breaking changes. I can dive into a complete walkthrough, see the highlights, the concerns, and detailed testing notes. CodeSnif runs every PR against industry-standard testing pipelines, helping you catch issues before they reach production. So if you're serious about shipping safer code and you want to stop merging code you don't fully understand, give it a try. Link in the description below. The prompt I gave it was something like, design a modern landing page for a fictional SaaS product called FocusFlow, an AI productivity app for remote workers, with a hero. Features grid, pricing tiers, and testimonials in a style similar to Linear or Notion. Now, in some cases, Claude Design will ask you follow-up questions before it starts building. Stuff like what tone you want, what colors, how much UI detail, things like that. But the more detail you give it upfront, the fewer questions it has to ask. The generation itself took a bit. You'll see it break the work into steps, kind of like how Claude Code shows its plan before executing. Mine went through 3 stages before producing a focusflow.html file. The hero section came out clean. It had a bold headline that says "Reclaim your deepest hours," with the word hours in a softer accent color. Below that, a short subheadline explaining what FocusFlow does. I got a features grid with 3 cards: Distraction Shield, Deep Work Tracker, and Session Intelligence. Each card has a small visual element on top. There's a testimonials block with a main quote and two smaller supporting quotes below it, plus a final call to action section near the bottom with a dark gradient background. At the top right of the canvas, there's a tweaks panel you can toggle on. When I turned it on for my focus flow page, I got a slider for accent hue sitting at 278 degrees. Dragging that slider live updates the color scheme. The headings shift, the button colors shift, everything stays in sync. I also got a drop-down for different headline options. So I could swap between Reclaim Your Deepest Hours, or The Quiet Place for Hard Work, or Focus is a Feature, Not a Hope, or Work Deeply, Ship Calmly. And there was another knob for Ambient Aurora, which controls the soft gradient wash in the background. What's cool about this is that Claude decides which knobs to expose based on the design. For a landing page, it gave me color and copy controls. If you build a dashboard, it might give you different ones, like density or chart style. You can also tell Claude which specific elements you want tweakable while prompting, so you have control over what ends up in that panel. This is actually a pretty unique feature. Other AI design tools give you static outputs you have to regenerate every time you want to change. Here, you're getting a live configurator built on the fly for your specific design. Beyond the tweaks, you also get standard editing tools. You can leave inline comments on any element, which works kind of like Figma comments. You can click directly on an element and edit it, change its color, resize it, adjust padding. You can draw shapes on top of the canvas to sketch out ideas, and you can view the actual HTML and CSS code underneath if you want to see what Claude generated. There's also a web capture tool I haven't shown here. It lets you grab elements directly from your existing website so your prototype looks like the real product, which is huge for teams who already have a brand they want to build on top of. The export options are pretty broad. You can download as a zip, export to PDF, PowerPoint, or send it straight to Canva. Anthropic actually partnered with Canva for this, so that handoff keeps everything fully editable when it lands over there. Notably, there's no Figma export. Given the CPO board resignation and the stock drop, that's probably not a coincidence. You can also generate a shareable URL within your organization, which makes team review really simple. And the one that I think developers will use the most is the Claude Code handoff. It packages up the design into a bundle with a single command that you paste into Claude Code, and then Claude Code implements the whole thing in your actual code base with your real stack. That closes the loop between design and production in a way most tools don't. Now let me be honest about the limitations, because this is a research preview and it's not perfect. Some users on Hacker News have pointed out that the output can feel a bit generic if you don't guide it carefully. You get a competent UI, but not always something truly original. There's also the usual AI trade-off, where super custom interactions or really unconventional layouts can trip it up. And right now, this is a web-only product, so there's no desktop app version of it, which makes sense given how visual the whole thing is. One more thing worth flagging. For enterprise accounts, Claude Design is actually off by default. Admins have to enable it in organization settings, so if your company is on enterprise and you can't see the feature, that's probably why. One more thing worth noting. The Brilliant team mentioned that pages which used to take 20 or more prompts in other tools only needed 2 prompts in Claude Design. Datadog said they've gone from a rough idea to a working prototype before anyone leaves the room. Those are real companies using this in production, so it's not just marketing talk. And Canva's CEO Melanie Perkins actually put out a statement about the partnership, saying they're excited about bringing Claude Design work into Canva for further editing. So the ecosystem around this thing is already shaping up. For me, the biggest shift here isn't the design quality itself. It's the fact that non-designers, so product managers, founders, marketers, can now produce something that looks finished without needing a designer in the loop for the early exploration. And for actual designers, it means you can test 10 directions in the time it used to take to test 2. That's a meaningful change in how product work gets done. It doesn't replace a designer's judgment, but it removes a huge chunk of the grunt work that comes before the real thinking happens. If you want to try it yourself, just head to claude.ai/design. And if you already have a codebase, I'd really recommend setting up the design system first before you start building anything. It makes a huge difference in output quality. Also keep an eye on your weekly token usage, especially if you're planning to iterate a lot. The high-fidelity mode eats through tokens faster than you might expect. Alright, so That's it from the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.